First of all, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all the people who come out, who have supported us and supported us for many, many years, but particularly in these last 2 years. I'm not going to try and name you all. You know who you are. And you're here today, and you're here with us in spirit. I want to say a few things. And I'm going to be followed by my sister and my mom, who should have the last word, by the way. I stand here before you as the child of 2 immigrants. And like most immigrants, they laid foundation and made decisions that brought us to this present moment. Now you might say, immigrants, you don't look like immigrants, but let me tell you. In 1963, 2 people from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Homewood, a neighborhood that looks a lot different than this, decided to come up to this strange land called Poughkeepsie, New York, because they wanted to have a new opportunity that was not available to them in Pittsburgh. You all know what that means. And this is 1963, and when I say an alien land, Dad used to tell a story of going on Route 9 to a strip mall, and seeing a guy walk into a store who was wearing overalls and no t-shirt. And he thought, what place have I landed in? Not being from the country, not being part of a farm community, but being part of an urban community. So they moved to Breadview Acres amongst other immigrants, like Winkelholtz and Jewicki and Heer and Wolf and Bolstra, and they formed a community there. And, not being done, decided to, with other immigrants named Shoup and Allgauer and Sullivan and Lose and many others, formed the East Fishkill Soccer League and formed the first girls travel team, so they had the opportunity to travel and play at the highest level just like the boys. That's an immigrant story, starting things in new places and gathering together that family. He found 2 churches, Beulah and Bethel, and raised us in those churches and formed a community and a family there. So I am really grateful for those decisions. I'll tell you the impact of those decisions. I never for one day, or let me say it this way. The question was which college, not if college, for all of us. And just so you know, just so you remember context, 1970, there's a lot of people that look like me that were statistics and not the good kind. So I don't know how they did it, but they did. Never for one day did I question that. It was not a question. And I had the opportunity to play in different countries and expand my worldview, and it led me to some really amazing experiences. Now, like all immigrant stories, it's not all smooth either. He didn't get a chance to coach the team to the state championship. We fought bitterly when I was a teenager about that college. So I want to tell you about the other thing, because when I stood up here, I said, I'm the son of 2 immigrants. Mom was the finisher. And so while everybody should rightfully thank Jim for his legacy, I want to make sure that people understand the fixer, the finisher, made sure that you got it. In case she's doing it today, busting with us trying to get out of the house. So what does it do? It brings us to the present moment, those foundations. We've had over 2 years the fortune to share many, many moments. And you know what those moments mostly look like? Storytelling, laughing, calling people, remembering people. And it all into the last days, that's what we are doing. And I feel light because of that. So what I want you to do right now with me, if you don't mind, is catch the gaze of somebody here. Somebody you know, somebody you don't know. No, don't look at me, look at somebody else. And when you look at them, remember Dad's smile. Many people have said this. Now look at how inspired you are, how light that feels. We all share that here in this room. The burden does not have to be on one of us, it can be on all of us. That likeness and that inspiration is shared amongst this community. That's the legacy. We walk out today in this present moment, in this beautiful spring day, in this sanctuary, and can share that legacy and share that moment, because this is the day the Lord has made. We should be glad of it.
I echo Harper's comments in saying thank you. It's not enough. It's not a big enough word. But his smile will give it to you. Our hearts are just so filled right now, and I just can't thank you all enough for everything that you've done. So quickly, I just want to share something. Everett kind of started it off, but the Harper house. There's 5 of us. Small house, only house I ever knew, 27 Inham Avenue. We had 1 phone, 1 TV. I had the smallest room. Mom was always sewing in it. My grandma dropped it. We've all been there. We've had it. Even our cars. My dad made sure that we went many, many places as we grew up. We had lots of experiences and trips, and went to Pittsburgh at least twice a year to be with family. Because that's how Mom and Dad were raised. Surrounded with their families, surrounded with love and stories and challenges and battles. But still, they always came out on top. In those trips, we always had a small car. 5 of us, right? Fiat and Pontiac Phoenix. And I really believe that Dad did all those things for a reason. I want us to be together. Okay. I still think we should have a bigger house. I still think we should have a bigger car. We're all over the place for soccer. Can't we have a band so we can spread out? But no. As we got older, we spread apart. Our children bring us closer, but we still don't see each other that much. And then 2 years ago, the diagnosis came. And in the course of those 2 years, we've come closer and closer. In the last 2 months, we've seen more of each other for years than when, before I went off to college. And then 2 weeks ago, came back with my children. Wonderful time to spend with him. Being able to see him trying to do his best, muster up the energy to chase around my kids if he could, or let my son sit in his lap, which was so precious. He loved my son sitting there. He loved to have a movie date with my daughter. That was the most important times for him. That closeness, that unity. Tuesday, I get a call in the morning from the doctor. You need to come back. I had been here, but figured we'd run to Baltimore, tighten up things, get back. And I got back. Dad was waiting. I wore that soccer jersey. He didn't have a lot of strength. Couldn't say a whole lot. I said, Dad, look. What did he say? He said, Harper 10. Okay? Dad, you say that. Who knows I'm here? I was about to leave the room, and I went up to him, and I got right in his face and said, Dad, look at me. We haven't said our prayer together. And what we say is, anytime before we depart, is, the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent, one from another. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. But he said, I'm going to give you a little bit more. Wednesday morning, the doctor calls and she says, I'm sorry, you all are coming out, aren't you? Your dad's not as responsive. So we're on our way. We're on our way. So we didn't expect him to talk, but we knew he'd be there. Mom and I walk in the room. Hey, Dad. Good morning. He nodded his head. He's had a few more pearls for us. So the doctors don't always know. My dad knew the Lord had control, and he said, I'm going to give you a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Thank you. And he nodded at us, mumbled a little something, but it was just Mom and I. But he waited for Evan and Reggie to come. He waited. I put on music for him. I know what he liked. Stevie Wonder was playing. I sang Ribbon in the Sky as I rubbed his arm. I Survived came on, some jazz came on, all the music he wanted to hear. The Lord made it happen. It was the most peaceful thing. And I can't believe I'm saying, I felt joy when my children were born. And what a gift and what a blessing to be there. Rubbing my father's arm, with my brothers right next to me holding his leg, with Mom being the finisher, the fixer, just around us as he went home. He wasn't ready till I told him, we'll be okay. He's waiting for you. You can go.
Sure.
You can go. And a few minutes later, he was gone. It was the most peaceful, beautiful moment. But you know what he wanted? He wanted that small house like Denham Avenue. He wanted that small, tight car that we all squirrels into. You know, he wanted that one little bathroom with one shower and one TV and one phone. He wanted it little. He wanted it intimate. He wanted us to be there. We love you, Dad. He loved all of you. His smile, may it just continue to light your way as it does for us each and every day. And I just thank you. And I thank you, God, for my father. I love you so much. Thank you.